the outcome never actually matters. And when we find ourselves in a place of swimming in anguish or anxiety or pressure, that's when we need to either reevaluate or remind ourselves that nothing actually matters. Nothing matters, even if the outcome isn't achieved. Even if we don't realize that goal, it doesn't matter. There's only learning. All right, I have an unpopular opinion for you. Nothing actually matters. Welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today's going to be a great day because every day has the potential to be a phenomenal day. Every single day. And I know if your resistance is fighting, saying this is a dream world, you are bypassing emotions, you are toxic positivity, bear with me, my friend, because a great day is a day for growth, a day for being alive, a day for experiencing this beautiful opportunity as a human being in this world. And what a gift that we get to do so as dentists, as doctors, as healers, guiding and healing our community, loving the world around us every single day, even if it's a difficult one. There are no rules that difficult days can't be great days. They're arguably the greatest because they have the most learning, the most growth, the most life, most living. Now here is today's insight, is that actually nothing matters. And isn't that interesting? It feels like a paradox right now. I'm telling you that every day has a possibility to be a great day because it matters what you're doing in this world. And then I'm telling you nothing matters at all. And here is the beautiful truth. The only thing that matters is how you feel and how you are living your hours of your day. And none of those external circumstances matter. None of the outcomes, none of the way things turn out, none of the expectations other people have of you. And let's face it, all of those are presumed. We don't actually know what other people are thinking. But we can drive ourselves crazy anticipating what other people think of us, anticipating what other people expect of us. Really, nothing matters. Even if you fumble, even if you fail, even if this project you're working on is a disaster, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel. And even in looking at our feelings, there is zero judgment of your feelings, whether they're elation and happy and positive and excited and full of gratitude, or whether they're painful, resentful, angry, depressed, and hopeless. There's no judgment. All that matters is the awareness of those feelings, because when we have the awareness, then we have learning. That's when we have growth. Okay, what am I talking about here? I'm going to share with you a recent experience in the practice, in the dental office, where my expectations and my stress about the outcome of a certain situation was getting me into a knot. I had this idea of how I wanted my business to be. Now I'm stepping into the business world for a moment, the business of dentistry, the business of medicine, the work that we're doing. And isn't it interesting that we establish for ourselves an idea of what we want, what we expect? And let's be honest, most of the time we have zero clarity around it. We just have an idea that we want it to be successful. And really, that's the first mistake, because we don't put up parameters for ourselves. There's not clarity of what the word success looks like. But in this situation, I actually did have some parameters. I did have some ideas. I had some clarity. I had my vision board. And I'd learned from doing this year after year and after year that the more clarity I have around where I'm going, the more likely it is that I'm going to manifest that in all parts of our lives. But right now, I'm talking about the business. So I had numbers, clear numbers of what I expected. I had ideas of levels of success within our practice. In our office, we practice with fixed appliances, meaning braces on your teeth in orthodontics. And we also use Invisalign. And I had an idea of a level of expertise that I wanted to be in with Invisalign. I had a level of expertise in terms of my reputation in the community. I had a level of expertise in terms of my proficiency and the challenging cases that I'd be willing to take on. These were my dreams and my goals. And goals and dreams are beautiful because they give us a directional compass. They give us a direction within which to operate, right? We know that analogy of when you're driving somewhere, you've got to have a place where you're headed towards. Otherwise, you end up somewhere else. Okay. So I had a directional compass, but here's the thing. The outcome never actually matters. And when we find ourselves in a place of swimming in anguish or anxiety or pressure, that's when we need to either reevaluate or remind ourselves that nothing actually matters. Nothing matters, even if the outcome isn't achieved. Even if we don't realize that goal, it doesn't matter. There's only learning. I know. Your mind is offering so many excuses or examples of why things do actually matter. Let's go straight to parenting. Parenting feels like it matters. And there are things that happen in our child's lives where we feel like, well, this is big. This is something I really need to stress about, put lots of time and worry and concern into. But even that doesn't matter. Even if you've made a mistake in parenting, even if you're going to make a mistake in parenting, and I've got news for you, both have happened and will happen. Same in business, same in medicine, same in patient care. And it doesn't actually matter. Of course, there's deeper learning. Of course, there's more understanding. Of course, around the corner of making a mistake, we get clarity over what it is we actually want. That's when we get to start actually massaging and changing the vision of what success looks like, right? When we're heading towards that goal and we realize, oh, that's not really working out that well, let me switch it up a little bit. That's our incredible freedom of choice, freedom to change our minds, freedom to pivot. In fact, it's a superpower in business. And I argue a superpower in parenting, most definitely a superpower in your own personal development when you're willing to pivot, when you're willing to change the direction you're heading in, because now you have new information, because guess what? Nothing actually matters. Okay, I know. This feels disjointed. This feels uncomfortable because every time I say that phrase, nothing actually matters, your mind wants to tell you, oh, but it does, because we've been practicing for decades telling ourselves that things are so serious. Patient care is so serious. And yes, we took a vow, do no harm. We're here to do our best. And so many of us, especially in dentistry and in medicine, really have strived our whole lives for excellence. Am I right? Isn't that what you've prided yourself on? Being the best, striving for excellence at the very least, always wanting to do better. definitely is how I've seen myself in the past. Once again, notice that excellence itself is not clearly defined, just like that open, enormous word success. What is excellence? What does that mean to you? And can you allow even the word excellence to be molded with experience, to be molded with new insight, to be molded by the guidance of how you feel? I mean, is excellence really worth anything if it's making you feel terrible? If your striving for excellence is burning you into the ground, if your striving for excellence is leaving you with migraines, if your striving for excellence is driving you mad, then really, is that excellence? So yeah, creating clarity around the word is interesting and helps us have a directional compass, and yet nothing really matters. There is no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing as ultimate excellence. There is no such thing as ultimate success unless we redefine those terms in terms of how we feel and how we experience the world. And that is why every single day has the potential to be a great day is so important, because we allow ourselves to let go of the outcome. Not just because we have zero control. So yeah, you have no control. Surprise, surprise. I used to think I had control. I used to fight for control in every aspect of my life, in my family, in my business, in my patient care, in my management of my team, in the way that my practice expressed and was received in the community. And here's the truth. We have zero control. We have no control over the weather. We have no control over the economy. We have no control over other people's opinions. And do not let this get you down. It's actually miraculous, because the moment we realize that, we realize, oh my gosh, I can relax a little bit. I can let go of the outcome. I can do what lights me up. And here we get to the true understanding of success and excellence. It's when we can allow ourselves to follow our hearts. Let's bring some heart power into this equation. Something we do not talk about in business, and we do not talk about in medicine and dentistry. My own emotions and feelings and the desires of my heart, the desires of your heart, because nothing actually matters. Yeah, that class 2 prep, that crown that you just cemented, that is not a great crown. That orthodontic result that you just completed and isn't up to your perfection standards, it doesn't actually matter. How many times have you noticed in your life there was something you were so stressed about, something that was eating you up and robbing you of your sleep, and no one even noticed? Huge awareness. That happened to me last week with my children. One of my kids was going through a really rough time at school. There was some bullying happening for her. And I was a wreck. Not outwardly so, but concerned for her. All the time wondering, how can I support her and parent her in this? Where do I step in at school? Where do I allow her the autonomy to handle this? I was ruminating around this over and over and over again. And one morning I went to check in with her just to see how she was doing, because I was so worried about her. And she was fine. She was fine. I was so wrapped up in the story for her that I was blind to the fact that she was actually coping much better than I was. And I could let go of that stress for a moment, because nothing actually matters. She's just experiencing her life. Yes, bullying matters. I am not saying that that should be allowed. I'm just saying nothing matters enough for us to lose our integrity with our own hearts and desires. Anytime we are facing a situation from a place of fear or a sense of lack, putting importance on the outcome, putting urgency on the outcome, that's when we lose our power of clarity, our power of intuitive understanding, our power of creative problem solving, and our power of living this life with joy and happiness. Hey guys, I'm interrupting your podcast episode to let you know about an incredible new program that I'm launching in January of 2023. It is specifically for practitioners in medicine and dentistry to help you rediscover happiness and inner fulfillment within your profession and your life. I remember what it was like for me when years ago I was so depressed and anxious and feeling like I had created and built a treadmill I just couldn't get off of, pushing through every day and wishing my life away. This program is the how of how to find happiness in your practice and in your life, because we know that when we feel good, that's when we can do good. Check out thebizofhappiness.com/radical happiness, or click the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. When we can approach a problem, and I'm using that word problem in quotation marks, when we can approach a perceived problem from a place of love, now we have a different understanding. When we can allow for every outcome to be okay. However this is going to turn out, I have no idea, and let that be okay, because every day has the potential to be a great day, and every outcome has the potential to be a great outcome, even the ones that surprise us. Even the ones that seem uncomfortable at first. Those outcomes might be our greatest lessons, greatest opportunity for growth and learning, because nothing matters. And you might say, well, come on. Of course things matter. We're talking about people's lives here. We're talking about my life here. I've got news for you. Even when it comes to life and death, and this is unpopular, this is going to be hard to hear, but there's one truth in all of our understanding, something we can all agree on. We are all going to die. Yeah, we're all going to end this life. That is without question. There's not one of us who will not end this life at some point. And doesn't that start putting things into perspective? What if even that was okay? What if even that was okay? And maybe your resistance is coming up right now saying, oh, Tarryn, you don't know anything. You don't know the trials and tribulations I'm in right now. Serious things are happening in my world right now. Big, big things. I've been there, my friend. I've lost very close loved ones. I have filed for bankruptcy. I have faced addiction. I know the bottom. And here is the ultimate truth. Actually, nothing matters. All that matters is how we feel and how we face those problems. Can we face them from a place of love? Can we look and learn from those lessons and those uncomfortable emotions from a place of love? And I know this feels wildly uncomfortable as you're listening to this episode, thinking, what are we talking about here right now? And if anything, the only thing I would love you to get out of this conversation is to give yourself some grace, to give yourself a moment to recognize that thing that you're stressed out about right now, that outcome that you're so worried about, that conversation with your boss that is eating you up, that new product you're excited to put out on the market but terrified of how it's going to be received, that conversation with your child's teacher, Whether or not your child failed out of school, let it all be okay. Allow for nothing to matter. And it doesn't mean we stop running our businesses. It doesn't mean we stop parenting. It doesn't mean we stop taking care of our bodies, and doesn't mean we stop dreaming big, beautiful dreams, but we let go of the seriousness and the urgency of the outcome. What if it all failed and fumbled? What if my kid actually failed out of school? Let that be okay. Let it be okay. Allow yourself to release the dependency on the outcome. Allow yourself to just release the control, because remember, we don't have any. It's an illusion. And when we can release our grip on the fictitious sense of control and breathe and get back in touch with ourselves and the purpose behind why we're embarking on this dream in the first place, now we can start regaining clarity. Because all of this is just for fun. All of it. Even parenting, even dentistry, even business ownership. All of it is an opportunity to learn and grow, and nothing is that important. Even that MOD, even that hybrid, even all the treatment that you're supporting your patients with, none of it is actually that important. And yes, it is so important to care and to want to do your best and to want to take care of the people in your world, and for loving your children and loving your patients and loving your parents and loving your community. Absolutely. And love that about yourself, that you care so deeply, and allow yourself the gift of letting go of the outcome. I'm going to drive from Maine to San Diego, and I'm going to be okay with whatever happens along the way. Because maybe once I get halfway to San Diego, I change my mind. And maybe I find out that San Diego isn't all it's cracked up to be, so I turn left and I go to Arizona. And maybe I get to San Diego and I decide that San Diego isn't it, and I keep going. Allowing for the outcome to be what it is and giving ourselves the permission to learn and grow along the way. That's the sweet spot. Okay, I'll give you one more analogy here. If this is still feeling confusing, and if your mind is still offering you a million reasons why things really matter, if you can, wherever you are, and if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. But if you have the moment, pull over to the side of the road and just close your eyes for a moment. Put your right hand on your belly and your left hand on your heart. Give yourself a little hug with your elbows and take a nice deep breath in. Breathe in all the way and hold it at the top. And fully exhale. Allow your shoulders to drop. Take another nice deep breath in. All the way in, and hold it at the top. Feel that fullness in your lungs and in your belly, and fully exhale through your mouth, maybe with a little bit of sound. Feel the weight of your shoulders just relaxing. Allow your arms to get heavy. And deep breath in again, all the way in. Holding it at the top. Fill your lungs and hold it at the top. And on this next exhale, feel the muscles in your face just relax all the way, and just soften every muscle and every nerve in your body, and fully exhale. And I want you now to imagine pulling your body up out of your seat. Imagine being pulled like from a spaceship up above, being drawn in this beautiful magnetic pull up, up, up into the atmosphere, above the clouds. Look down below as you see things are getting smaller and smaller, and you travel further and further up, 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 until now all you see are land masses and water, almost indistinguishable, pulling further and further back as you go above the clouds and into the atmosphere. And now you just see this beautiful earth below you. You can no longer even make out where you came from on this planet. And breathe. And recognize from this space, from this enormous, enormous space all around you, how nothing, absolutely nothing below you and on that earth matters. Not in space and not in time. Recognize that everything you were so concerned about, maybe it was money, maybe it was the perception, your perception, the way you're received in your community. Maybe it was your sister-in-law's perception of you. Maybe it was your father's perception of you. Maybe it was your concern for how things were going to turn out. Maybe it was your worry about your home. Maybe it was your worry about that recent social media post. Look and see that from this vantage point, nothing matters. Nothing. The only thing that matters from this beautiful space is your awe. That incredible planet down there below you. Yes, you're a dentist or a doctor. Yes, you're a daughter or a husband. Yes, you have important, beautiful roles to play and big, important dreams that this world needs you to realize and actualize. Yes, there's so much still to be done, and allow for it all to be okay. Give yourself permission to even imagine that it's just for fun, that we get to learn from the joyful, exciting experiences and the challenging ones. We get to learn from the pain. We get to learn from the love. And that nothing actually matters. Take another nice deep breath in. And exhale. Slowly, gently allow your conscious awareness to come back to the room you're in. Give yourself a little squeeze with those elbows, a little love. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Let it be okay. You are doing amazing things. Your heart is in the right place. And if it isn't, check in with yourself again and ask yourself, is my heart in the right place? Or am I acting out of a space of fear or lack? Because all of it is learning. All of it is new data for you. And we can always return back to our hearts and recognize, I'm doing this for the love of the people around me, for the love of myself, and that the outcome actually doesn't matter because I always get to choose again. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for being open to a new perspective. Thank you for being aware of how you feel as I'm sharing all of this insight with you and recognizing, ooh, this feels uncomfortable. I don't know if I agree. And please, you are entitled to however you feel and whatever your opinions are. It's just a perspective to give you a new awareness, a new possibility that all that heaviness that you're carrying around in a backpack, slung over your shoulders, that's weighing you down, that's making you feel anxious and overwhelmed and exhausted, I'm giving you permission to just take that backpack off, even if it's just for a morning or just for an hour. Allow it all to be okay, however it will turn out. And maybe tomorrow you'll see it as the best possible outcome. And how many times has that happened? Where we say, hindsight is 20/20. If only I'd known that this would have been the exact way it should turn out, the exact order of events as it should be, and it couldn't have been better. Allow for that possibility now. Thank you for being here. And please, I ask you, if you have questions or comments or big, strong feelings about what I'm saying on this podcast, I would love to hear from you. Or if there's a topic you'd love for me to address, or maybe a situation in your office or in your life as a medical or dental practitioner, bring it to me at Tarryn@thebizofhappiness.com. That's TARRYN at thebizofhappiness.com. And I'd love to bring them onto the podcast and address them with you. And until we meet again, my friends, remember, when you feel good, that is when you can do good. Bye-bye.